Welcome again to Project Pack number 8. My name is Rick.
Hi, I'm Maria, and we're on the last day already.
This is the
That's
last
great.
day. This
Oh,
went by so
crazy.
fast.
Yeah. So we're going to use the 3Zs in the tan color, and we're going to use 6 of them. And we're going to use...
So we're going to pick 2 colors, and we went through different pairs of colors, and I think what we ended up doing, or Maria ended up doing...
It's the blue-green and the light brown, which
Right.
is what was on the camera right there. So this is a fairly simple, I think, not too complicated. We don't appreciate our tile. We always appreciate the paper. So the size of the barrel right there, I want you to make a little tick mark with the pencil on the 4 corners, just to give you a general idea of where to put, how big to make your border.
So you see Maria put a little mark on the barrel of the pen there, where the blue insert is.
Yeah, the color is.
We've taken to using that as a technique of all the different steps on the pens and pencils as a way to measure things.
So with my blue-green Gelly Roll, these wonderful pens, we're going to do our border, and very carefully and consciously.
Yeah, I love watching how you do those, because there's this sense of like affection and respect and appreciation all rolled into it.
So we're going to put a circle in the middle, about the size of an eraser head on a pencil, if we were to use erasers, which we don't. So then we're going to what do you call it?
Take off.
Take off and land around this circle in a clockwise way. See, so clockwise, we're going to go around the circle, and we're going to take that line to the corners of the triangle. So this is like the beginning of the tangle well.
And so by taking off, we mean to slightly retrace whatever it is that you're taking off from, like a plane would on a runway.
So the line that you just wrote, we're going to aura that line to the right of it. Turn your tile. You're going to go to the right of the line you just drew, and aura that as carefully as you can. Concentrating on the beauty of your line. And then we're going to do this thing called rounding, where when you come to a corner, an awkward corner, you're going to round it off and then fill it in. This gives you some gravitas and some dark masses of color that really help bring the tile to life. We use this rounding technique often, so you can see it just rounds it off.
So you'll see this a lot in our embedded letters series, or also in Diva Dance is sort of a variation of rounding.
Right. I saw this years and years and years and years ago when I was young, in successful illustrations, like book illustrations. Instead of just drawn like pencil lines or pen lines, there would be like puddling of dark areas. And after analyzing it, it was this rounding technique that they did to give more character to the lines in their illustrations.
Yeah, I like that puddling. It's like if water was in there, that's how it would form itself into that space.
So now we're going to aura that line again, but closer, so you can see that it's getting some character to it.
And that's a really good point with aura-ing. You can vary the gap, and it gives a totally different character.
So you can see that I'm almost never moving my hand out of position. It's always in the same place. And the way I do that is by turning the tile and making the lines accessible to my hand being there. And it just makes it so much easier for you to draw in that position. So now I got this light brown color, which has, the cap is a little bit orangey, but it's called light brown. And we're going to aura that last line, and then again cut off the corners in this rounding method, and we're going to add some of that rich, beautiful brown color. These two colors together may remind me of Native American blankets and things like that,
Well,
colors.
and also there's that feeling of Pacific Northwest carvings that has these dramatic shapes that really evokes what you're doing.
So again, with this light brown color, we're going to aura that section.
So that going back and forth with auraing and rounding, you get some nice contrast of solid color and line.
So it's a form of diva dance, right? Just going back and forth, and we're just going to fill these areas going back and forth with our blue-green pen and then that light brown pen. And if you miss the sequence a little bit, it's not going to make any difference. It's just going to have a total like a feeling, like a texture. So don't worry about that. Whatever you do is going to be fine. It's very forgiving.
Mm-hmm. And again, just to point out that Maria's holding her pen really gently, and so always remember now and then to relax your hand, relax your shoulders, feet on the ground, take a breath.
Okay, the other thing is you can see that I'm holding the pen at an angle. Well, ordinarily you would hold these particular pens more upright because they're a ballpoint. But then our hand's in the way, and you can't see what we're doing.
You see our great view of our knuckles.
So you get a much better control over the pen if your pen is more vertical than what I'm holding it. That sounds kind of silly, but
you can play with that and experiment and see how it works.
Get to know your pens really well, and know which pens will deliver what to you. And you can only do that with you doing it, because you and your pen have a special relationship. So I'm going to add a little brown in the middle, but I'm going to leave a spot there. And if you missed that spot, we can always go back with a white jelly roll or a light jelly roll and add it. So now I'm picking up a black micron. I just wanted this particular line to be really bold and be different from the other lines in this composition. So I'm actually going very slow and giving it an almost...
it almost has like a texture, like you're building it up, like layering it on there. I like that.
And it looks different than if you just took a fatter pen. It just will have a different character.
Well, it has a character like the deckled die-cut edge of the tile there.
That's right.
That ever so slight rounding and.
So with the blue-green, I'm putting these marquee shapes in the corners. Pretty simple, like an elongated oval.
But with a little gap there.
Mm-hmm.
Like how you re-emphasize the lines.
So I'm going to aura that space between those marquee shapes, auraing along the black line, and then finishing off around the marquee. I'm going to do that all the way around.
So just going back and forth with these two pens, it's a great color combination on this paper.
You can see how slow I'm going. when you're oraing, you want to just really concentrate on that, and it gives you a much better focus. And that's the whole key to Zentangle, is getting yourself into a place of absolute focus where you can just forget everybody and everything.
And part of the beauty of rotating the tile is it reinforces the non-representational aspect of this art, so that without an up or down.
Okay, I'm going along the outer edge there, and
Auraing the decal.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And going up about a little bit more than a third of the way, or what would you say, Rick?
Yeah, you're leaving a little space in the middle there.
And just ending up with a curly Q and
Sort of an unwound printemps.
Yeah. What we're doing is we're creating little ding splats, or
And
dingbats.
Dingbats, and repeating it on each side, then that brings that whole, okay, we have this resonance going on.
So with this, the orange color, we're going to go back and round off
all those little crevices.
All those little crevices, and creating our own little spaces to put dingbats in.
But look how that gives that form and supports that unwound printemps. That's looking really great.
Right. All of these opportunities to add the rounding will bring, especially working with these pens where you just want to see the colors nice and bright. So I'm auraing those odd little shaped things, or whatever shape you end up with. It doesn't have to look exactly like the shape that I did. In fact, it probably won't. So don't worry about it. But we're just going to aura that, around that spiral and around, and just keep going around and around.
I love the deliberateness and of your stroke there. No rush.
Anyway, I guess I decided I was going to color in those marquee shapes. I'm kind of designing this on the fly, which is when I do my best work.
And as she's coloring it in, she noticed she left the blue of the.
Oh yeah, so you could see it.
So it's like it's holding it. So it's like a really tight aura with no gap there.
And then I'm just going to aura in that shape as well. Looks like little bee.
Like a reverse crescent moon there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Or a little bee skep.
A bee skep, yeah.
Bee skep is old woven beehives, what they used to use.
Do they don't still use them, do they?
No, because you have to destroy the hive to get the honey.
Oh.
This year's been a really good year. Good winter for the bees. They're doing well.
You have what, 4 hives now?
Yeah.
Good for you. I'm afraid of bees, and Rick can't get enough of them.
I love how you go back over and just do those little touches.
But that's a fun thing to do. Just analyze it and see, oh, that line, it you could use a little work right there, right? So it has a Maori look a little bit, and oh, now this is when it's going to come to life. So I'm adding graphite very aggressively right near that black line, on the inside of that black line. That's why I wanted the black line to be so present in there, so that you wouldn't be afraid to add this graphite there.
And it really defines it up against the graphite as well.
Look at that, right? Just
So the point of shading is to have some contrast. So you've got some great contrast with the outer border that's free of graphite. So also remember not to cover up the whole thing in the middle.
yeah. So we're going to work highlighting the middle.
Really has an impact. Looks like you started with a new tortillon there. Work that other one. So she's not only spreading it around, she's moving it into the fiber of the paper too.
Right. The tan tiles are probably our most fragile tiles, and you don't want to press too hard, but you can go over it with a light hand and get the same kind of a. Look at that! It's already doing
really
things
snaps.
unexpectedly, right? So I'm just adding a little bit of shadow where those lines go under the other.
And she's doing it with the graphite that was built up on the tortillon.
Right.
And it eventually peters out there. But the effect of adding the graphite and the contrast, it's fun to go back and look at this at the beginning before the graphite was added.
So now watch this. This is awesome. It's like the icing on the cake.
See how she's mixing it in there with the graphite.
So you can see my lines are not back and forth. They're just going one direction with this pencil. So it starts in the middle and it feathers out over the graphite, so that you can blend it in better than trying to go zigzaggy with the color. Does that make sense, Rick?
Yeah, so it's like petting a cat.
Yeah.
The right way. In direction of the element that you're highlighting. And also it works the way your muscles, do it the way your muscles would normally move as well.
You have more control over it. Yeah. So I'm going to go and just rub that white in a little bit, but also, mix it to the graphite.
Make a nice transition there. It really pops. Okay, so we're just beginning. We had...
wait a minute, I'm not done yet.
Oh, you're not done.
Yeah, so I'm going back in with my micron, and I'm going to outline that center circle, give it a little more importance. And then I'm going to add some black, just a little bit of black in the border, just to bring it together. See how that just sort of...
It's like those jet pearls.
Yeah.
What
beads.
was it? The beads, yeah.
Just enough to...
Yeah.
Cool. And then I'm just touching up that initial black line, cleaning it up.
Well, and also it goes over the graphite and it just becomes more black.
Mm.
Okay, so you had 6 of these.
Yeah, so you're going to do 3 of the ones that I just did, and then we're going to do 3 of them exactly the same, except the middle is going to go in the counterclockwise direction. And it's a subtle thing, but it's also a more, it's again adding to the focus. So you put your circle in, and I don't mind the circles being out of center. I kind of like that they a little bit off center.
They move around.
So we're going to go counterclockwise now.
The first one went clockwise.
Okay, so we're going to go around and we're going to go that way right there. So we're going to go through the whole exercise afterwards, pretty much doing what we did with the first one.
So counterclockwise, take off, and then into the corner.
And you could say this to yourself over and over, counterclockwise, because you're going to do 3 of these tiles.
So everything in mirror image.
A bit of rounding, accenting these colors. Even that is a cool.
Oh yeah,
right?
That's beautiful.
So we're going to do that aura, that up close and personal aura. Put in some light brown with the rounding.
And each one's going to be different, even though we're doing the same approach. They all will have their own little character.
Mm-hmm. But they'll go together.
Absolutely go together. So doing all those similar steps.
Here's the black line.
So by having that extra width, it gives a sense that that framing has some thickness to it as well.
You can see I'm not too careful about everything being exactly the same. I'm not a very big proponent on exactly the same.
But there's a family resemblance.
Right. I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
And then those little black accents. Just leaving that center ever so catch a sparkle. So there's 2 of them together. You can see that.
There's the clockwise and the counterclockwise. How fun, right? Yeah.
So you can see that sort of meta shape happening under there. I love that. So Maria in her evening escapades. Here we are. We've got all of these. And you can see she's alternated them. It's beautiful.
I should have had the whole crew do each one, but everybody was so busy. That looks kind of pretty, huh?
Yeah.
It's a nice composition. And you can see the different characters in each one. I tried a couple of the other colors, so you can see there's that lavender. And this one has the green in it. It was kind of pretty. That would have worked really well too, I think.
So thank you so much. This has been a great project pack.
Thanks for playing along.
We've got one more little video to sum everything up. And thanks again, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye now.